Hey guys, Tactical Minds here, and today I want to talk to you about 10 things that you should do before you go down the road of concealed carrying. Now, obviously, I've said in several videos, I'm a huge advocate for concealed carrying and defending yourself. So today, again, I want to get into some things that you should do. But before I get into it, just wanted to read something to you from my little pocket constitution here, because there's a lot of the Second Amendment's under attack today, as it's been for a very long time. And a lot of people like to say things about it's only meant for sport, or things like deer wearing Kevlar vests, and all these other stupid comments. They like to throw these trigger words out like weapons of war and all this nonsense. So I just want to read to you what the Second Amendment actually says from the Constitution. Just real quick, word for word, so we understand what it is we're talking about, because I don't think a lot of people know. They have their own interpretations of everything, right? So the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That is actually what it says. Nothing about sporting, nothing about having certain types of weapons, not about certain types of weapons. You shouldn't have weapons of war or any of that other nonsense that people say. One more time. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Again, that's from this pocket constitution. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and just get right into it, okay? So first one, we're going to start from 10, work our way up. Number 10 is going to be educate yourself. And by educate yourself, I mean educate yourself in weapons in general, and some statistics and knowledge, because, once you go down the path of concealed carrying, you will be a lot of times challenged by these nut jobs that want to use these big terms like weapons of war and assault rifles and all these other things that they know absolutely nothing about. You'll find the people that challenge gun ownership the most have zero idea about anything about guns. These are the people that are triggered by firing an AR-15 and get PTSD from it in some crazy way. So educate yourself. But as far as that, also educate yourself on what your laws are in your state. Some states have constitutional carry. Some states, like New York and California, it's very hard to get a concealed carry permit. I believe you have to have a duty to carry, which means you have to provide a necessary reason for you to carry. If you're in those states, I don't know what to tell you. I would just get out of them, honestly. But so educate yourself in the laws in your state so that you are carrying legally. Also, with that education comes with do some research, but get yourself, if you're going to conceal carry, get yourself some concealed carry insurance. I've mentioned this before. I'm not a member, or I am a member, but I'm not affiliated with anybody. But USCCA is the really big one. There are some other ones out there that are, right up there price wise and protection wise. But basically, concealed carry insurance, what they're going to do is they're going to provide you insurance for just that, right? If you do have to use your weapon in a self-defense situation, a lot of these places will provide an attorney to speak with the police on scene. So this way, you don't make any false statements or make any misrepresentations of yourself. As well as there's a lot of them that will bail you out of jail in the instance that you are arrested after, immediately following a scene using your weapon. So things like that. It's a good thing to have. It will protect you. And trust me, if you do use your weapon, even to defend your life, there are going to be people coming after you. So educate yourself, get some insurance. Okay. Now, number 9 is going to be pick a gun that works for you. And again, do your own research when it comes to that. Okay. Don't just take what is the most popular opinion. Do your research and find what works for you. Okay. Just like I would never say go just watch the news and take the news at face value. Do your own research, especially when it comes to owning a firearm. Okay. Because this is something that if you're going to be carrying, you're going to be doing, to protect your life, potentially. So do your research, find what works for you. Glocks work great for some people. Smith & Wesson MP shields work great for some people. But do what's right for you. Carry what's right for you. Do your own research. Don't Just decide you want to conceal carry, because I see a lot of people do this. Don't decide you want to conceal carry. Go to the gun store and say to the gun store owner, "Oh, I want to conceal carry. What's a good conceal carry gun?" Because they're going to give you the latest and greatest that everybody's buying, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that weapon works great for you, right? Also, don't just go to a friend of yours who is a concealed carry and say, "Hey, what do you conceal carry? I'll use that," or do some research. What is a police officer? What is a Navy SEAL concealed carry? Pick what works for you and do your research on that weapon, because when you go to these gun stores, they don't let you take a firearm out and fire it a few times to test it out. Okay. When you leave that gun store with that weapon, you own that weapon. And a lot of times, the moment you go to the range and start putting rounds through that weapon, you can no longer return it. Now, you can sell it somewhere, but again, before you go down that road, do your research, find what works for you. Okay. So, number 8 is going to be another very important one that a lot of people overlook: knowing how to clean and maintain your firearm. Now, I'm not saying you have to read the instruction manual word for word. There's a lot of great stuff on YouTube, right? But do your research on how to clean and maintain your firearm and know where your firearms reliabilities weak points are, right? So, know how to at least basically field strip that weapon. And if you don't know what that means, I'll have some videos on some other field stripping of weapons later. But basically, it's, removing the slide, removing the barrel, being able to clean, the very main and necessary parts to keep your weapon functioning. Having some CLP or some good gun oil to make sure that your weapon is properly lubricated so it's running properly. Just know how to take it apart. You should know how to break down your weapon and put it back together in less than a minute. I mean, it's not that difficult. Know how to take your weapon apart, know how to maintain it, and a step further, obviously, do properly maintain your weapon. Keep it lubricated, keep it ready to go, okay? So number 7 is going to be checking the ammo type that you intend to carry. Now, whatever type of ammo you intend to carry for self-defense purposes, right? Whether that be hollow points, full metal jacket, whatever. And if you're not sure on what type of weapon ammo to carry, I did do another video not too long ago on the differences between ammo types. But anyway, know the type of ammo and know that that functions in your weapon. Go to the range and test that type of ammo in your weapon, okay? Some weapons will cycle full metal jackets better. Some weapons will cycle hollow points better. Some weapons won't cycle full metal jacket or hollow point as well. Some will take, cheap wolf ammunition. Some will take a little more expensive grade. The point is, certain firearms, just some can accept all types of ammunition and feed them well. Some just like particular types of ammunition, but know the ammunition that you're going to carry uses well in your weapon. Okay. You don't want to get somewhere, have a type of ammo loaded up in your weapon, never have fired it before, go to fire it in the first time and your weapon jams. Because if your weapon jams and you don't know how to, fix it, you're going to be in a world of shit. And even if you do know how to fix that jam or clear that jam, and I will be doing a video on that in a later date, but even if you do know how to clear that weapon jam, those precious seconds that it takes off of having to do that is seconds that your life is more at risk, and there's a good chance you will not survive that confrontation. So, check your ammo type, make sure that it cycles properly in your weapon. So number 6 is going to be to get a good holster, and a belt, or whatever you're going to carry. Some people carry, I personally carry on my hip at about my 5 or 6 o'clock, probably more like my 5. I'm not a big fan of appendix carry, although everybody carries where they prefer to carry. Some people like fanny packs. Some women carry in their purse, whatever. Just get something that's going to be good. Now, if you do want to carry on your belt, and this is primarily more for the men out there, I'll put a link in the description section for this belt. But this is called a Spec Ops Better UD BDU belt. Excuse me. This belt is pretty cheap. It's only about $25, and you can see I'm wearing this myself, and it carries very well your weapon, and it holds up really well to carrying a weapon, and it's pretty thin. So when I very, very, very first got into law enforcement, I was carrying off duty every day. A lot of times I would wear my normal leather belts, and after a while those belts are just not meant to hold a weapon, and they break. And if you're out in public and your belt breaks and it can't hold your pants up and it can't hold your gun, and you're especially out in a public place where you're trying to conceal your firearm, then you could be in a world of shit, especially if you're in a city where a lot of times if somebody sees a gun, they just freak the fuck out and automatically assume something's wrong with you, right? So get yourself a good belt and a good holster. Something like this, a nice little inside the waistband holster with just a little belt clip. That's what I carry. It goes inside. This part of the weapon will stick out. This part will be tucked in. You can get a nylon one, and that's good for some instances where your body weight basically just holds it. I do like the Kydex myself. It has a little bit of a kind of locking in it, as you can hear it kind of snap in there, and it is very easy to get out. And they just hold up better. But get yourself, a good holster or, belt, what have you. So the next thing is going to be along those lines is going to be to carry in, an accessible place. You want to carry in an accessible place, but you don't want to carry in a place where you're going to print your weapon. By printing, I mean your weapon is, visibly noticeable to the public. You don't want a big bulge sticking out. Don't wear a 3x2 size medium shirt and have your bulge sticking out of your pants, revealing that you have a weapon and where that weapon is. Because, as a bad guy, if you come into a room and you're planning on doing harm or robbing a place, you're going to see that person with that bulge. That's the person with the weapon. And as a bad person or, an adversary, that's the first person you're going to take out because, realistically, that's the only guy that's going to put up any type of stop against you until the police get there. Now, somebody else may be carrying a weapon somewhere else, but that's who they're going to likely go for first. So don't, have a weapon that's going to print, but same thing, carry in a place that's accessible and train in that place that you carry, right? Be able to get access to that firearm quick, whether it be appendix, whether it be from your 4 or 5, your side of your hip, whatever, your fanny pack, your purse, whatever. Carry in a place that's accessible to you and know how to get to that weapon quickly to be able to get to it if you need it. Because when you do need it, you want to not be fumbling around and knowing how to get to it. And, in any fight or flight situation, your responses are going to be going crazy. You're not going to be thinking right. So muscle memory is going to be what's going to get you home and get you through the day, right? So number 4 would be carrying a extra magazine, an extra source of ammunition, as well as carrying some type of light source. So I've shown this in some videos before, and I will put a link to this as well. But this is a Pitbull Universal Mag holster carrier. This will carry any type of magazines. You see that's a Glock mag in there. Let's see here. H&K mag right here fits as well. It will carry any type of magazine from single stack to double stack, all that good stuff. And that is a great thing to have. Again, this is only about $25, $26, about the same price as the belt. You can carry it inside the waistband, outside the waistband. It's just got this little clip here, and it will take all different types. As a matter of fact, just to show you, I do have, let's see here. I do have a 1911 single stack mag, okay? So just to show you, it will take your single stack mag as well. So it'll take just about any type of magazine you want to throw in there, depending on what you're carrying. So definitely get yourself this. Along those lines, getting yourself a source of light. Now, some weapons that I carry, I do run light sources on them. I am a big proponent of weapon mounted lights. And if you need a recommendation for weapon mounted light, I've done some videos with those. This is the Streamlight TLR1. So you can't carry these, and you can find holsters to carry these, but depending on the type of weapon, it can be challenging, and it's a little bit more to carry, in your waistline or in your purse or whatever. So if you don't want to do that, just get yourself some type of source of light, okay? Because the big thing is obviously target identification, right? So if you are in a nighttime setting, and let's face it, a lot of bad guys like to attack in the dark, right? To have the nighttime in the dark conceal them, right? So if you are in a nighttime setting, you want to be able to identify that target. So get yourself a light, even if it's just a flashlight, something to carry, on your person. Get yourself some source of light so that you can identify, your target, and work with the light. If you are going to use a handheld light, you're not going to use a weapon mounted light, or if you're going to use a weapon mounted light, either way, work with the light, work with it with your weapon, get comfortable with it, but have that, and again, have that extra magazine on you, because that first magazine is going to go very quickly. And next thing you know, you're going to be left up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. So have an extra magazine with you with some extra ammo. Number three is going to be doing mental exercises. So what I mean by that is understand that if you're carrying a weapon, you're carrying it to defend your life. Okay. With that comes, you have to be mentally prepared to understand that you may have to take a life. Now, that sounds very easy because we watch movies and stuff like that, but not as easy as everybody thinks. There is a lot of mental stuff that goes with it. There's a lot of cops and military members out there that have had to take lives in the course of their duty, and it's haunted them for the rest of their lives. So, by doing mental exercise, and by that I mean, basically, um, read up on some stuff just outside of movies and stuff like that. Read up on some stuff. So one thing that I really recommend is a book called On Killing by Lieutenant David Grossman. And it is a great book. It's required reading for a lot of law enforcement agencies in the military. I would absolutely recommend it. Again, it's called On Killing by Lieutenant Grossman. Great book that basically describes the psychological effects of, what happens when you have to take a life. It actually goes into the research from back in the day of where old soldiers would, when they would train with just silhouette targets, they would fire a lot of times over their enemy's head or over their shoulder because they didn't want to kill the person they were shooting at, right? And that's why they had adapted over the years to using the human silhouette targets that we see to kind of desensitize us a little bit to shoot at those human silhouettes. And, it's shown that carried over in battle, you're more likely to shoot at a human target because that's what your brain kind of associates it with. A lot of really great things in that book. Very good read. Again, it will very much mentally help to prepare you and give you an idea of what it's going to be like, if you get to that point where you do have to mentally take a life. Because again, you need to be prepared to do that. Okay. Because if it does come to a situation where you need to use your weapon, you do not want to be second guessing yourself in that situation. That will get you killed. Number two is going to be train, 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 train. And I can't stress this enough. I've said it a million times in my other videos. You got to train. You got to train with the weapon you're going to carry. You got to train with the light source. You got to train with doing your reload. You got to, dry fire, your trigger manipulation. You got to train, train, train. You want to know that when that weapon comes to that time that you need to use it, that not only is the weapon going to function, but that you're going to function with it. Because again, I've said this before, and there's lots of other guys that will say this. Okay, I could put a $10,000 weapon in the hands of an untrained person and give a trained person a $200 weapon, and that trained person is going to outgun that untrained person every time. Okay, the price of the gear is not the biggest thing, and that's not what matters. It's your training, your level of training. Again, your trigger manipulation, your reloads, your clearing weapon jams and malfunctions. You got to train with this thing. Wherever you're carrying it, train on drawing it one hand, train on different shooting stances, train, 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 train. Cannot stress that enough. Training is a huge, huge thing. I know ammo is expensive. There's lots of other great ways to train. So, just get yourself some training, maybe get a course, whatever, but please get out there, get trained up. Your life literally depends on it. The number one thing is going to be having some other option available to you. Just because you're carrying a weapon doesn't mean that that should be your go-to every time. Okay. A lot of people want to go out, concealed carry, especially younger group, want to carry a weapon. And it's a very easy when somebody, gets in your face or punks you or, gets up in arms or agitated or presents themselves as a big, aggressive, scary target. It's very easy to want to show that you're carrying a weapon, right? Do not do that. If you're the person that does that, then you should not be carrying a weapon because you're not a responsible gun owner. Have yourself another means. Okay, the weapon is your last resort if you have to go to protecting your life. So get yourself some other things to put in place of that. Things like, again, if you haven't seen my video, and I'll do other ones, maybe using something like this, a light that has a beveled edge for an attacking, a light source to temporarily blind, having yourself just a knife, pocket knife on you, um, you know some type of other means of self-defense. Go out there, take a judo class or jujitsu class, get some type of self-defense. But also along those lines, probably first and foremost, learn verbal judo. Get yourself a book on verbal judo. Okay. There is a lot of situations that in law enforcement we do on a daily basis, and you should know as well, where we can absolutely 1000% talk the person down and talk us out of getting into a deadly force situation. Regardless of what the public likes to tell people, in law enforcement, 99% of the time, we are trying to avoid a deadly force situation. And the number one thing we use is verbal judo. Okay. We always say in law enforcement that your officer presence and your words and stuff like that, that is your very first go-to tactic when it comes to dealing with the use of force scenario. Okay. So verbal judo, there's lots of great books on it, written by lots of law enforcement officers and stuff. Again, martial arts, whether it be jujitsu, something like that, having a knife, a flashlight, something, but put in place other measures of self-defense and other avenues you can take before you decide to approach using a firearm. Okay, so that's the video. Hope you guys liked it. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch. And please go follow me over on Facebook. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video so that it gets up in the YouTube algorithm. Put some comments in there as well. And check us over on Spotify, Tactical Minds Raw and Unfiltered podcast. Think I'm coming up on 6 episodes now. I'd love to have you over there. Anyway, again, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe, stay tactical, stay dangerous, stay up on your concealed carry knowledge. All right. Thanks, guys.